In this lesson, we are going to know more about electricity and study the second key concept that we have in this lesson. The first one that we studied yesterday, how do electrically charged objects interact with each other? We said that they can be positively charged or negatively charged. When they have opposite charge, they are going to attract each other. Or if the objects have two or similar charges, they are going to repel each other. The second key concept that we are going to know today, how can objects become electrically charged? We said that objects in the normal state or the normal case, they are neutral, means that the number of the positive protons equal the number of the negative electrons. But when the object lose or gain electrons, when the object lose or gain negatively charged electrons, it's going to change and become electrically charged. It can be positive charged when it loses electrons, so the number of the positive will be more the number of the negative. But if it gains more electron, it's going to be negatively charged. This is the way in which the atoms or the objects become electrically charged. We have here this practice sheet on the key concept, the two key concepts that we studied till now. Electrons move around the protons of an atom, true or false? Yes, false. The electrons revolve around the nucleus, not only the protons. Electrons have an electric charge, but protons don't have electric charge. False, the protons have, but the one that doesn't have any electric charges are the neutrons. An electron has a negative charge. Yes, correct. The electrons have negative charge. When an atom's charge is balanced, the amount of negative charge equal to the amount of neutral charge. No, we said this one is false because when the atom charge is balanced or the object is balanced, no charge means that the amount of negative equal to the amount of positive charge, not neutral one. Number 5, atoms are balanced because they have an equal number of electrons and protons. Sure, correct. Why? Because the electrons are negatively charged, the protons are positively charged. So it's going to be balanced as the two charges equal to each other and cancel each other. The unbalanced charge is sometimes called an intense charge. False, it's called static charge. Number 7, an object that loses electrons is positively charged. Yes, because the number of the positive will be more than the number of the negative. It loses electrons, it loses negatively charged particles. Number 8, normally all objects are electrically positive. We said false. Normally, in the normal case or without any reaction, the objects are electrically neutral. Number 9, all atoms are made up of protons, electrons, and ions. False, they are made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons. Number 10, an object that gains electron means that take more electrons, gain more negatively charged particles, it will have more or greater negative charge. Number 11, lightning, sound, thermal are 3 types of energy. False, because lightning is not a form of energy. We can use electricity or light. The last one here that we have, objects become electrically charged when they gain or absorb electrons. Sure, false, when they gain or lose electrons. So, by this one, we studied the two key concepts. How do electrically charged objects interact with each other, and how can they be electrically charged? But what are the factors that affect the strength of the electric force between them? If I have two charged objects and I need to check the strength or the electric force or the attraction between them, we have two factors, the amount of the electric charge and the distance between the two objects. We can see here in the diagram or in the figure in front of us, if the strength or if the amount of the charge of the two objects increases, as we can see here, we have more charges in this one. So the attraction force or the electric force or the strength of the electric field increases. But if they have less amount or decrease the amount of the charge, the strength will decrease. So we can say from this that they are directly proportional. In the second one that we can see here, the second factor, the strength and the distance between the two objects. As we can see, they are inversely proportional. If the distance between the two objects decreases, as we can see in this one, we can see that the attraction force or the strength of the electric field increases. So they are inversely proportional, or the relation between them is inversely proportional. How can the electron transfer? We said that we can produce electric current or electric charges if the electron transfer from one object to another object. Some materials, they can pass the electricity or the electrons through them, and some materials cannot pass or move the electrons easily through them. The electrons that cannot move the electricity or the electrons through them, it's called insulator. They cannot move or pass the electrons through them. But the one that can pass it easily, it's called conductor. So we have two types of materials based on their ability to move the electrons through them. The one that moves it easily, it's called electric conductor, but the one that cannot pass it or move it easily, it's called electric insulator, as plastic or rubber. But copper here, it's good conductor or electric conductor because it can move it easily as a metals. How can the electron transfer? We have three ways to transfer the electrons from one object to another object. They are contact, induction, or conduction. The three ways, they are different from each other, but when the object or when the electron transfer between the conductors or insulators, this way is done by contact. What's the contact way? The one that we're going to study today. If the two objects, they are made of different materials, touch each other, the electrons tend to collect on one object only. And this object will have the ability to hold the electrons more tightly. This way, it's called the charge by contact. That's happening in the conductor or the insulator. It's happening by contact way. So the three ways, contact, induction, or conduction. The contact one, it depends on that one object can hold the electrons more tightly than the other one. So it can be charged by contact now.